Welcome, everybody, to listening to the podcast. Daniel,
Yes.
how are you doing? How do you do, buddy?
Oh, I'm good. I'm excited about this topic.
Oh, me too. It was good. It was good in the heart muscle.
When you have to limit, and when I had to like cross things out and delete things because I had too much to talk about, you know you're onto something.
So, okay, all right, wait, hold on. So, welcome to those that are listening. This is the Mindless Banter podcast. It's bad.
Way to get our name wrong. Come on.
Is it really? Wait, what'd I say?
No, it took you a while to get it right. You're like the Mindless Banter.
You know how embarrassing that would be? It's like, this is the Duck Pond podcast.
This is Kevin Smith's podcast.
This is Sigourney Weaver's podcast.
Alien in Me.
Alien in Me. Also known by others as What Am I Doing in This Movie?
Or Alien 3.
Oh gosh, that movie was so good. Didn't you like that? I mean, that was awesome.
We're not getting into this again. I hated that one. Oh
goodness. I love the part where no. Mindless banter. I said it right. You're messing with my weak constitution. Stop it.
You should try to level that skill up if you can.
I don't have enough mana. Welcome to the Mindless podcast, where we are horrible and everyone hates us but loves us at the same time. If you're looking for something interesting or filled with talented people talking about stuff that are good, simply just press the pause button and or delete and or stop button and leave. Give them a minute. Okay. Welcome to those that have stayed. Today,
you're in for a show.
Oh goodness! Today we got ourselves. We talked about this in the last podcast. We're gonna watch Batman and Robin, and I thought, okay, sure. I actually like the old ones from the 90s. I like that the directors went and tried to do something comic booky as best they could with props and actual made sets and stuff and goodness gracious, we watched Batman and Robin, and it was worse than I remember. Absolutely worse than I remember. So, Dan, go ahead, talk a little bit about why we did this, and why you go ahead and start us. Let's talk about the first topic. We wrote down some notes as we watched this, and we're going to talk about it. We haven't discussed them, so it's going to be new to the both of us and to all those that are listening.
I don't think... I'm trying to think. There's just so many. Like, I'm just looking through the list, and I'm just getting... flustered just by looking. But I mean,
when you saw the movie first and how excited you were when it started, and
first of all, there was no reason for us to do this. To answer that question, there was no logical reason to do this.
Interesting.
I will also say that I do remember seeing this as a kid, and I will fully admit I did like it when I was a little kid. I liked Arnold, though I didn't like seeing him as a villain again. But anyways, after now rewatching this. 15 years later, whatever. Obviously, the first thing that struck me that was wrong with the movie is the initial scene where it just says Joel Schumacher, director. That's one of the biggest faults of the entire movie.
Why don't you like the guy?
Well, I mean, he basically ruined the franchise. It took years to get the stink of this thing off. And the thing that's so great, too, and they fully admit it, too, is this movie was made primarily to sell toys, which is why everything is so colorful. And actually, remember, one of my other things, like number 3 on the list, was that crazy Batmobile that has like a disco ball in it that's colorful.
I love, now in the old cartoon WB one, that car, that when he drives the long one, like the 18-cylindered one,
yeah,
love that thing. That is my Batmobile. There's never been a set Batmobile. You got the 1960s Batman with Adam West, the little dual-seated car, the Corvette thing, and then you've got the ones from these movies. Then you got the tank that freaking Christian Bale drives. There's never been a set, but that one in that cartoon is mine, and I like the shape instead of this one. But it did have some goofinesses, especially towards the end when it turned into a boat thing. But I jumped forward. I totally know what you mean. Disco ball in the front.
Here's the thing. He's supposed to not be noticed. And if you're driving down picture this. Picture in The Dark Knight Rises, because I just recently rewatched that. And by the way, I kind of like The Dark Knight Rises. It gets kind of crapped on. But can you imagine when he is going to chase Bane and all the lights go off, but you see just this disco ball Batmobile just flying through that underground. It's so outrageous. And I agree. I loved the animated series one. I actually really like the Tim Burton one, and those ones kind of seemed relatively similar to me. But yeah, it's just supposed to be a long black car, so you can't see it at night.
Sure, and with a bunch of gadgets and stuff in it. Yeah.
Exactly. And then let's just knock out the big thing right off the bat, the nipples and the butt shot.
Okay.
Almost instantly.
Bat butts. Okay? Bat butts.
Badass
when
and
they
bat
got
nipples.
dressed, I was like, oh, I remember this. And they're like, and then they pull out the pants, and this perfectly formed buttocks right in front of your bat butt. And the Robin one. Goodness gracious, that was way out there. And bat nipples, like you said. They totally decided to draw nipples or form nipples into the polyurethane plastic.
Yeah, it makes
nipples.
It makes no sense.
Batman showing there was no belly button, there was no chiseled pectorals or abs. It was just normal tough guy look with bat nipples.
Let me ask you this, because in the Nolan universe, Morgan Freeman's character is the one who creates the bat suit, practically. And then they get random parts like to make it more look like a bat, from other countries. And they try to make this realistic approach. They never say where he gets his suit, so it has to be an ego thing, right? Like Batman is making the suit his own, and he's putting those perfect nips, as I like to call them, on the suit. And then, creepy enough, he also made it for Robin, so he wants to look at Robin as well too. So there's some weird undertones in this movie to start off with already.
We'll go with that with this universe. So Batman obviously has a nipple fetish.
It is very possible, possibly a boy fetish, because we'll get to that later. Because the Batgirl suit doesn't have them, so there's some undertones for you right there.
Oh my goodness! Oh.
Let alone when you just think of how Batman having a sidekick that's a little boy, how much that is just child abuse. But we won't get into that.
Well, he's an orphan, so it doesn't matter, right? Is that how it works? Isn't that how it works?
Oh, I guess yeah. So you can basically just beat them, right? There's no rules with orphans, right? You can just throw them out whenever you want, right?
Oh my goodness, this one I was surprised by, because when you think Robin, you think of kid, but this guy was like 20-something years old, and
he was like middle-aged. He looked about as old as Batman did in the movie.
He had the build of like a middle-aged man, but he had the mind of a 13-year-old. When, like you said, they made the movie for toys. They also did a lot of a lot of shots in which you could freeze it and make a playing card out of them. Absolutely. Like when they're both sitting on the opposite sides of the Batmobile on the bat symbol shaped I don't know, what do you call that, pad for the car, and they're just sitting there with their arms at their hips like staring at it while I was like da da da, and then he goes, I want a car, chicks dig the car. I was like, what are you, 10? What are you, 15 years old going to high school? Oh my gosh, that was painful. Oh my gosh, that was painful.
I look at it as if I would say that at my current IT job right now. If I said that at work and I was like, I want that car. Chicks really dig the cars. And I said that in a serious way.
And then George Clooney, Batman looks over and goes, this is really hard for me. I'm sorry. Looks at him dead serious. No, this is my line. I'm going to get this out. He looks at him and goes, this is why Superman works alone. I was like, ah!
You know what's so funny about that statement too is when you hear it, you laugh in a weird way because it is kind of funny, and then when you really think about it though, you're like, so Superman exists now in this world because Batman is aware of him. So does that mean? It made me kind of go down a weird rabbit hole in this movie that I had to pause and think about it for a little bit. I'm like, so Superman exists?
That triple slap.
Or are there Superman comic books?
That triple slap me with, I want a car. Chicks dig the car. This is why Superman works alone.
You just knew it was going downhill. Right when you hear that too, you're just like, oh.
I'm stoked. I am stoked because I remember the bad parts because they were so good. They were bad, but bad in the good. So I knew they were coming, but I did not know that this was filled with so much glorious goodness that I was going to get.
And then how about when they're leaving the Batcave and they're going down that tunnel that seems like it's 4 or 5 miles long? Like, there's no way you construct that thing and nobody knows about it. But that's okay.
Lighted perfectly. He's flying down it, probably going 60 miles an hour, taking forever to get there. Yeah. Absolutely.
All right. Absolutely. Well, we'll skip that because we could just go off the intro. We could even talk about how Arnold Schwarzenegger's name comes before George Clooney's name, who is the main character
right?
in the movie.
I totally laughed my buttons off when I saw that because it said Arnold Schwarzenegger. I'm like, well, what about Clooney? Like he's the man.
Batman.
What are you doing? And I was like, goodness. But I guess, at the time, because this was 97. Ooh, never mind. Well, you know what? He was big in 97. When did Predator get big?
Well, that was, it was in the 80s, but that was all after like the last act. It was all of his big movies. So he was at the height of his success. Man. He had already had Terminator. He had like Last Action Heroes. He had all like Kindergarten Cop. He had everything at that point.
Gosh, that's great.
But let's get to the part where they go now for a confrontation with him, and they go to the quote unquote, as I think you called it, the ice skating scene from Batman, where they decide that the rules of physics and logic don't exist in this world. They're gone. Mm-hmm. And the thing that cracked me up the most with that is when they get there and then they put when they click their feet together and the skates come out of their boots.
Okay. Yes.
That I rewatched that scene 2 or 3 times. They do not know that place is ice going into that.
Nope.
They have no idea, which
They're
means
totally
that
prepared.
I guess they were completely prepared, that they just knew that someday they were going to be in an ice arena battle with some villain, and they were ready. Let alone clicking your heels together to make those things come out seem really impractical and just a terrible idea just to get those things to come out and the worst times.
Okay, like you said, this was a good point you brought up. They did not know that Mr. Freeze. No, they didn't know who they were fighting. They were down that 4.5 mile tunnel under who knows where, going to the scene of the crime when the little monitor pops up and he goes, Batman! And he's like, who are we up against? And he's like, he calls himself Mr. Freeze! And then he's like, on my way. He did not go, Mr. Freeze. Well, okay, freeze, ice, okay. Here's my ice skating shoes, and I got my portable bat hockey stick, and he was prepared with that. He was prepared for all things. But let's dock off a point though. Let's say that one was okay because in 1969, which is the one with Adam West.
Oh, it was in the 60s. I mean, I remember watching those movies, but I don't remember much about them. The only thing I remember is those movies where the movie that came out was when they disintegrate people with some machine and you can reverse it and they can become real again.
Yeah. So, anyways, he had to fight a shark. Adam West, Batman.
I remember that. Okay.
And remember how he got out of that situation?
Wasn't he punching it in? He was punching like wrestling
the inflatable shark. Yes, but the big thing that won him the day was he was able to get his shark spray out of his utility belt that he carries around with him at all times, and he was able to spray the shark to go away. So we'll put that one in a neutral area. As bad as that was,
maybe he's the most underrated Batman because he's so intelligent and he has so much foresight in this world that he knew hours before this was going to happen that he was going to need some stuff, and he knew exactly what he was going to need. He knew, that his bat gun where he can shoot up a building, not going to need it for this one. Screw it. Let's put that to the side.
He just knows. Yes, but
which I don't even know how he would know with his head. If you watch that movie, George Clooney's head is bobbing like the entire movie too. You just rewatch and just watch his head. It's constantly bobbing like he has some sort of disease or something.
I've seen. And like all the jokes, his neck is fused and his head's connected to his shoulders and he can't turn his head. Let's jump back though. I want to talk about him crashing through the ceiling, landing super fast.
My favorite line.
Oh, go ahead, say it, man. This is all you.
Where George Clooney comes down and just goes, "Hey, Freeze, I'm Batman," in just a George Clooney everyday ER voice.
He was totally calm, and what I felt was it was too fast. Like there was no banter. It was just him crash. Like Freeze, like get the diamond, and then and he lands. And goes, "Hi Freeze, I'm Batman," and then they just start fighting.
Well, he said it in the same tone. If you were gonna go on a blind date, and I would go there, the first thing I'd do is like, "Hi, I'm Daniel." He literally says it in the exact same tone. There's no urgency. There's no fear behind it.
Nope. It's literally like he just said, "Okay, now listen, George. When you come through the ceiling, we're gonna need you to really put the fierceness of Batman. Okay, you're gonna fight this villain. He's been here for years. You gotta get that Batman." And he goes, "Okay, yeah, I'll get it. Don't worry about me." And then maybe there's some egotism. Let's put that in there. He goes, "Oh, don't worry about it. I've been doing this for a long time now. All right, I got this." And he lights up, "Hi, Freeze, I'm Batman." And the director's like, "Oh."
I forget. Did he do the Flintstone scene before or after that, where he slides down the dinosaur, like on the tail, just like Fred Flintstone did in the old cartoon shows? It just, as you're watching it, you go in with certain expectations, and it just maybe not even slowly. I'll say slowly because it starts instantly. It just chips away at Batman, and the movie just disintegrates as the movie goes on. It just gets worse and worse.
It's a little. I want to give it the excuse, but this was almost 2000. Literally, it was made in 1997. Literally, The Matrix 1 was coming out in 2 years.
Yeah,
year and a half. That masterpiece, and they were still producing garbage like this.
Well, here,
somebody was like, "You gotta do this." Okay, giant dinosaur. All right, Arnold, listen. You like your one-liners? Can you just do them all the time?
Yeah, we've ruined Batman now. Let's ruin the Flintstones for you while we're at it as well.
Right.
Let me give you some quick examples as to why, in the world of Batman and Robin, physics don't exist.
Okay.
First of all, you have him sliding down the dinosaur, the whole Flintstone slide, almost seamlessly, like he's practiced it.
Oh man.
Maybe that's what happened in between. That's true. Maybe in between Batman Forever and Batman and Robin, he had that nailed down. So okay, go ahead. You can put that in the neutral one if you really want to. Sure. Remember that scene where Mr. Freeze's gun flies out and it just perfectly lands off Balin's, half hanging out of that statue? You're just like, what?
They did that reverse camera, so they had him like sitting on the edge, and they just had someone kind of pull it real hard with a piece of fishing string, and then just played it backwards.
Which, by the way, isn't the first time that happens in the movie. It happens again later on with Robin when he goes in the water. And then you have the scene where obviously they're doing like the ice hockey with the diamond, because apparently you can't use your hands. It's like they all agreed to the game. And when Robin has that javelin and he puts it in the ground and he just flies up, his body is like a cross, but like his hips are moving somehow. It made no sense. And then when he like lands, his butt is sticking out. Like, it's just so illogical. Like I couldn't believe, like I probably rewatched that scene 4 times because he looked so much like he had wires connected to him.
Oh yeah. They didn't try very hard.
He was so stiff. Oh.
They just needed to pump that out quick to forward the plot so that they could make those toys as quickly as possible.
There's Robin's superhero power. And then you find out that, Mr. Freeze is there to get diamonds to power his gun or his weapon that he's going to be creating. Spoiler alert. Sorry, podcasting people. And then you find out that his suit requires diamonds to run. Could you think of any more of an expensive thing? Was their first idea like, let's have his suit run on gold and Fabergé eggs? How about that? He's gonna need these things. Oh, and yeah, he's gonna need these things to get his suits around. They thought that's a little unrealistic. Let's just make it diamonds, all right?
We should make a movie where we have that kind of a suit and we have someone play the Freeze, but his suit runs on just ridiculous things, like you said, eggs, Pomeranian hair, used shoe leather.
Why not? Why not just go crazy? You're going to need chocolate. You need the Skittles that come out of the rainbows in those commercials. You're going to need...
Only the yellow, though. Only the yellow.
You're going to need a tear out of Robin's left eye. It's so dumb. Why?
Oh,
I don't remember
good
that.
stuff, man. His suit was bomb in that movie, though. That was a good suit. I like that suit.
Yeah, you know what? If you're going for the tone that they were going for, which obviously was like the anti-Nolan way with, ultra unrealistic, they made him look like a comic book character. So
Yeah,
you'll
and that's
give
what I
him.
respect about those movies. Is like you can do that. You don't have to have everything totally explained. You can have fun making a cool movie. Just do it somewhat believable, like when you're pole vaulting and your body looks stupid and then you're like, that's good, guys, and like, really, I think I could do another take on that. Like, nah, we gotta get these toys out. Then you'll notice. But see, my favorite ones, I like the Mr. Freeze from
Animated series,
the animated
where he had
series.
like the dome, like his head almost looked like a snow globe because he had the dome
I liked
on
his
it.
voice. I liked it. I don't know, man. It was just good. I think what it was because I watched I read the comics and I knew the character, but then to see it in real life, I don't know, it hit me real good. But I think they did it right. But I liked the other one in Arkham Asylum more. Like, he was cool. Look at that.
Where do you think that? Yeah, I was gonna say, where do you think they got the idea that Mr. Freeze just speaks in puns the entire movie? He has no real sentences and no dialogue.
It's the minute they hired Arnold. They're like, okay, so here's your script. He's like, what's a script? And then they're like, okay, this is Batman, you'll never defeat me. And then he goes, okay, I'll say that. And then they go, action, Batman, chill. And he's like, no.
Yeah, do you think
Arnold,
he's
Arnold?
You think he's just crossing things out and just say, you know what, I just want to do one-liners the entire movie. I don't want a script. I just want one-liners for everything I say.
When he catches the diamond and he goes, thanks for playing.
Hey, everybody. Chill.
No, what was that one? What was that one where he was like, later in the movie when he kept saying the same line over? I think it was chill. He's like, chill,
Yeah, he's
chill, chill, shooting people.
Like he suffered from Tourette's randomly.
Oh my goodness, yes.
But only in puns and not swearing.
Totally. Okay, well, all right.
All right, let me get to my favorite
No,
part.
You got this.
The escape, right?
You got it. I know what you're gonna say. I know.
For people who maybe haven't watched in a while, here was Mr. Freeze's plan when he got into the museum. He was going to steal a diamond and then get into a big, huge diamond, which, by the way, there's like, when you see the satellite at the end of the movie, there's like 50 of them in there, all the same size, which really makes you wonder why he went through all this trouble to get one. Okay.
He got it with the hockey team.
He got after Batman and Robin are done playing hockey with the goons. Obviously, you're not allowed to use your hands, and they all agreed on that. He gets it slap shot to him, catches it one-handed, goes into a rocket to shoot up into Gotham.
That was in his car. That was built into his car.
No, it gets even better. It was built to shoot up into the sky, to then eject out of it. So, as Batman says, this is going to create a crater in Gotham, yet he hovers directly where he came from, back to the car, to go into the sewer, exactly where he came from. It's so dumb. It's so illogical.
Butterfly wings when he came out.
He was that was his goal. It reminds me of when Angry Joe did the video for Ride to Hell, where he says, how does Jake deal with the fence? He goes and steals a truck, kills all the truckers, drives it to the electric plant, where he then murders everybody inside so he can eventually get in there to a vantage point to shoot a tank across the way so he can dive into the water as an explosion misses him. And he goes, and that's how Jake deals with the fence. And it's so over the top and dumb.
It was so rough and it's so impractical. Oh,
let alone when they're up there, that Batman and Robin decide to then hover off the doors when they jump off of it.
Hover? They surfed.
Yeah, they
literally
surf like
have
on
bat
buildings.
Boards.
Which made me wonder, why are you wearing a cape? What is your cape for at this point?
That reminds me, when he came from the ceiling, his cape was just pointing down with gravity. Like there was no like menacing like bat symbol coming down as he glowed. Glided?
Glided it did.
Glid, I'm going to say that word because it sounds ridiculous. Glid to the floor, and then he could have said, "Hi, Freeze. Hi, Batman." But he didn't. So anyways, yeah, it explodes into little pieces because Batman carries a small thermal detonator with him on his belt.
That is some utility belt that he has in this movie.
And then they both jump on, and this is what I'm talking about with like movie moments. There's a car like making cards for the movie. It explodes, and then they're just surfing through the air away from it on little boards. And I don't even remember Batman taking a board out, but he had one.
Yeah, I mean, apparently they were worried about the thing turning into a crater, yet they weren't worried about all the debris that was going to come from him blowing up a goddamn spaceship that's going to all come crashing down. And
anyways, continue.
To get to the bottom, to fight Freeze, who then freezes Robin, who then he has to thaw out in a pool, and he uses that stupid tool that he had to heat it. I'm like, why has this not been used already? Why is this just being taken out right now?
Yeah.
He had some sort of heat laser to heat a pool so he could thaw Robin out, yet he decided it had no other purpose to fight a guy that's frozen.
Yep.
Never needed.
And then, like you said, landed just to get back into the car, that the car somehow knew where he was to drive away.
He literally went straight back down. He didn't even go on an angle when he jumped out of the rocket. The rocket went straight up in the air, and he jumped straight back down exactly where it came from. It's so... Ugh.
Yep. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. You know
it's like an 8-year-old writing a script that says, this is what the villain's going to do.
When he was falling from the sky, and he went into the giant steam... exhaust port.
Oh, doesn't he shoot down to slow him down?
Well, yeah, he shot himself down to create snow, and then falling from 30,000 feet, he lands on his feet and then walks through, I think, 14 doors. Do you remember that part?
Oh, yeah. Do you want me to add that to the list where physics don't exist in this universe that they created?
Yes, put that up on the Batman and Robin board of failures.
Gravity and physics have no use in this world for us, okay? It's just going to slow our characters down.
I was like, okay, I see what he's doing. So he's probably getting the exhaust and shooting it, turning it into flurries. He's going to fall into a big fluffy thing of snow. Okay, I can try to believe that. And then he just goes, and he just walks away. And I'm like, wait. Wait.
I give you credit for saying, I'm going to try to believe this. I'm going to try really hard to believe that this happened, all right? I'm going to try to suspend disbelief.
You know, if you did that, I'd be like, that's pretty cool. You know, like, okay, he did that. I don't know. But no, he landed on concrete, and then he walked through 14 doors. And, yeah. Anyways, yep, totally agree with you. Great part.
All right.
Great part.
And then, obviously, the next thing is they start showing Ivy. Now, I don't actually have a ton written from when she becomes Ivy. Mm-hmm. I more started writing some things down that cracked me up when they got to the auction for the diamond later on. The only thing that I wrote down for that whole part is, why is Bane wearing a top hat as he brings her everywhere?
Okay, well, you missed. I mean, you hit it, but you missed it. The depiction of Bane was close, but it was a little bit goofy. He is not a giant.
Isn't he smart? If I remember correctly, isn't he smart in the comics?
He's got normal human intelligence. He might not be, Carmen Sandiego smart, but he.
Will they put that on my degree when I'm finished? You were officially Carmen Sandiego smart, and like just a giant stamp that they put on there with her, red coat on.
Circle with the hat. Gosh, I wanted that.
5 stars. You're Carmen Sandiego smart.
Cardigan was so nice too.
Did you watch that show when you were a kid? The game show with the not to go on a side tangent, but they're like the. What is it? The a cappella group who would sing like "Where in the world is Carmen San?" I did some research. They're still around, by the way. But go ahead and go back to your. Song? Oh yeah. Wow. You go ahead and go. I'm sorry, not to go.
No.
That's for a different podcast. I was
just to say that he is. Okay, so I liked what they did. The Dark Knight Rises. They just did their own thing. They didn't even care. They're just like, you know what? Everyone likes, for the last 70 years, people have liked Bane to be this way, but we're going to change it because I'm Christopher Nolan. I'm awesome. And so they turned him into some mask-wearing freaking beyond genius. that for some reason is falling in love with the daughter of Raj Al Ghul, and well, it's trained by the same people.
If you make if you make Bane and you try to make him realistic, I think you did it. I think Nolan did as good of a job as you can to make him as realistic as possible, because Bane in himself is kind of like King Croc, or the Croc in a way. Mm-hmm. That is, he's not really realistic in a realistic world.
Yeah, but I don't read comics for realism. I don't play video games for realism.
Yeah, but Nolan had already said that he was going to ground this in reality as much as he could.
Well, and that's
so if you try to take, no, I'm with you. No, I'm with you on that one. But I mean,
opinion. In my opinion, is more important to me than you.
Fine, talk about Ivy.
No, I don't mean like than who you are, but my opinion is more important to me than my opinion is to you.
Don't care. I just find it funny. You're just like you're really trying hard to give this movie the benefit of the doubt. Well, and look, joke, I'm not embellishing. When I see Joel Schumacher's name, I'm already out. Like I'm already asking for my money back.
That, man. I mean, I totally see. But the thing is I see the movie as the whole like, goodness gracious, like, entertain me, and it did. And even though it was bad, it was good. But I'm with you. Like, there's so many different things. But I like that they got that skinny little crazy guy, which was not Mexican, which is not who Bane is, or not who Bane is. He's a little Mexican army, secret testing super soldier serum, Venom and he was like one of like 100 kids that was able to survive, but went kind of crazy. But anyways, I liked him in the movie, but the mask fit. I wish I knew who that guy was that played him. With those arms were huge, but his gut was pretty big too.
They looked like they didn't even look like real arms. They looked like some sort of material, like a coat that you would put on over your skin. Like it didn't. And he was like a caveman. He literally responded with Bane good.
Yes. They'd be like, Bane, get the car. Oh, car. I'd be like, okay, all right, this guy is just a side character to Ivy. And Uma Thurman, I had no clue Uma Thurman was the Ivy. I had no clue, not even a little bit. When she was walking around in that very comic book-esque room with all the plants, she was all crazy. Then I was like, then she fell, I don't know, got killed, came back, and I was like, oh, it's Uma Thurman. But I didn't know the name. I actually had to ask you, and you're like, yeah, it's Uma Thurman. And I was like, oh. Should have read that in the credits.
I should have researched this.
I should have researched it. But no, I didn't know she was there. And you know what? I don't really find her all that attractive. So to see her in this movie, I was like, oh. I guess
I thought she was a fine Poison Ivy. I mean,
no, she did good. Like, she played the character good. But I just have a different idea what Ivy should look like.
Here we'll skip over that part a little bit, because there's not much that happens. I mean, Ivy just becomes Ivy, born from the plants, and then the mindless Neanderthal Bane, for some reason with no previous dialogue, decides to team up with her out of some, which was dumb all in itself. But my favorite part is one of my favorite parts is when they go to, when Ivy decides to crash Bruce Wayne's party that he holds. Now they're gonna auction that diamond off so they can lure Mr. Freeze. And the first scene is those old guys bidding on the women. Mm-hmm. And while I was watching, I was like, why are they outbidding each other? And they're bidding on different women. Mm-hmm. It was, one guy literally was like, I put 10,000 for some flower. Then the next guy's like, I'll do 20,000 for a different woman. And then the last guy was like, I'll do 30,000 for the magnolia. I'm like, why are you outbidding each other on different people? You literally could have each just said 10,000 apiece.
That whole scene was extremely I don't even know where to go with it. I mean, it just started out with people dancing, and then there were these gorilla things, and they were dancing around and flying, and all these rich people were down below in like Hawaiian shirts. And then what killed me was Batman and Robin were just hanging out on the stage.
there's no mystery or anything. They're just
no
there.
Mystery, no, like, they're just.
You know what they should have done?
Hey, what's going on?
They should have done the whole 1960s style Batman. They should have been on the dance floor, like dancing with them.
They had they just sat there and they look, and Batman looks over and goes, "I hope Freeze falls for our trap." And I'm like, "What are you doing on the stage? You need to be the rafters or on the roof or in the dark. Why are you sitting right in the front of everybody?"
Exactly, and that whole party that they're at for those rich people, it looked just like one of those eyed wide shuts, like those underground like billionaire parties that they just have orgies in. Like it had that same like look to it and everything too. It was really bizarre, like bright lights everywhere, monkeys dance. And then remember when they start the bid and they're bidding on Ivy and Batman pulls the Batman credit card out, don't leave the cave without
seriously,
it.
I think I lost a testicle when I watched that part. And then Clooney goes, "I never leave home without it." I was like,
no, I think he says never leave the cave without it. I think he says the cave. Don't leave the cave without it.
Okay, yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. Thank you for that, because you're totally right. I was more focused on the pain in my testicles when I thought about...
Because it makes it even worse that he says the cave.
Oh, I paused it and stared at it, and I said, really? So now not only is he just hanging out in the front of everybody, but he is able to go to a bank, I guess, and just get a special bat card for Batman. I wonder, it's probably got great benefits with it. Who knows?
You know what just dawned on me, actually, what that movie reminds me of? It reminds me of Saints Row the Third.
Oh.
People who were in gangs who then become like, remember how, did you ever play Saints Row 2? Okay, Saints Row 2 was serious, yet what it did is it would bring these serious moments and then throw these weird comical moments into it that would lighten the mood a little bit. But at the second one could have given Grand Theft Auto a run for its money for how serious it got at times. And then in the third one, just like what happened when Schumacher came in, it just got ultra colorful and ultra just goofy as shit. And that's and the Saints become like celebrities in the video games. And that's basically what Batman and Robin are now. They're celebrity. Like you said, they're just hanging with everybody in the crowd.
Dude, yeah.
Obviously, the bank gave him that card specifically.
Yeah. And, yeah.
Wait, does that mean that... Does the Batman have his own bank account?
Ooh.
Oh,
he has to.
Maybe we shouldn't tear down the logic of this movie too much.
Shoot. Do you think they give him really good benefits, or do you think because they're evil banks that they're just like, yeah, let's just, let's give him this APR, this on his loan.
If I remember correctly, the black credit cards are for the billionaires, and they give you good interest rates on those. So I'm going to assume he got a pretty good interest rate on that credit card.
Whatever. It's so dumb. Real quick, I forgot to mention, we skipped a little bit. I have some notes. After they showed the whole Bane thing, they went and they talked about, they jumped to Mr. Freeze in his little ice cave. Okay, there's some things that bothered me in that. There's some things that bothered me in that. So first off, the thing that I liked was the song they were playing on the TVs. For some reason, Mr. Freeze, decided to sit there. It doesn't matter. Whatever. Arnold Freeze Clooney. He was sitting there making his hockey team sing a song. And it goes like this. It's like it's off an old Christmas movie in probably the 60s or something. And he's dancing around and he goes, "I'm Mr. White Christmas, I'm Mr. Snow." And he's sitting there putting his hands up and down, like an orchestra leader, and he's trying to get his freezing hockey team to sing this. And they have frozen microwavable dinners in their hands, and they're trying to eat it and lick it, but then sing at the same time. And then he's just like, and he gives up on him, and he walks away. And he's, first of all, Mr. Freeze. Mr. Freeze, Mr. cannot live with anything above freezing temperatures, is smoking a cigar.
And isn't he wearing slippers?
And he's wearing slippers and a very nice blue, ice blue robe with an Afghan on it. Man, it was slick. And
yeah, you think he'd be more like Dr. Manhattan. They're just nuding it up. And he needs the gold. Why wear anything?
Yeah. And then he had like a little very attractive black woman escort lady dressed up in some skimpy freeze outfit.
And who didn't seem cold at all either.
She was like, "Hi, baby." And I sat there and I was like, okay, there's a lot of things wrong with this. First off, Freeze did everything. He was doing everything for his wife that he loves so very, very much. So for him to have that concubine hanging around, it's a little odd. Someone didn't think about that. He never, I mean, seriously, he killed all these people, killed people, stole stuff, hurt people, all for the sake of his wife. So that was a little goofy for me to bring that up. But yes, sorry, let's jump back to
a little goofy, huh?
Well, okay, very goofy. Oh, and then I'm looking at my notes right now. I got so much I got to talk about. Another one. Okay, so in this movie, Batgirl comes.
Oh, let's not get to her yet. That's still a little bit.
I have, because this is chronological. Okay. You want me to do this and then do chronological? Because chronologically, what I'm about to say, freaking blew my mind.
Well, here, why don't we do it this way? You know, we're getting close. We're getting close to the end. I think this would probably be best suited as a two-parter because we're only about halfway through the movie and we're over 40 minutes at this point. So we'll do that. We'll talk about. We'll split it up for you guys. I'll put this out on a Tuesday, and then I'll put the other one up on a couple days afterwards to give you guys some time to listen to it. Maybe you want to rewatch the movie as we're doing this. So, but we'll end it here and we'll start it up again.
Cool.
And all right. So you know what? Until we see you on Friday.
Yep. Or what if it? Okay. Kisses. Bye bye.